Hello, good day everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Miss Alia. As you well know, I'll be teaching you for Year 6 Bahasa Inggeris. So today we are going to do the first topic of Year 6 from the Year 6 textbook, that is reading Window to the World. But before that, a simple introduction. My name is Alia Natara binti Abdullah. You can call me Miss Alia. I've been teaching Year 6 for more than 3 years, and my favorite genre, we'll be talking about genre after this. My favorite genre is R, adventure, poetry, and folklore. Well, some of you may not know me. Well, some of you actually know me anyways. So from this picture, I'm going to show you this picture. This is me, the one who's wearing the brown shawl with her hands up. Next to me is Cikgu Nazmin. She's wearing the black baju kurung with grey shawl. And then the one further at the back is actually Ustazah Najihah. And then the one next to the next table is actually Cikgu Nur Zalina. I think you are familiar with her. She taught you maths, mathematics. And then next to her is Cikgu Fauzia. Now, before we start our lesson, let me just remind you of how many exercise books that we need. Okay, first we need English exercise book 1, as we call it E1, English exercise book 2, E2, a spelling book, and a writing book. Now, don't be stressed about buying new books, as I want to stress. Cikgu nak stress sini ialah jangan beli buku kalau awak ada buku lama. If you have your old books, just use your old books. If there's still any blank pages left, I don't mind, cikgu tak kisah pun. Okay? Now, moving on. Now, let's have a look at the learning objective of today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to share about your favorite books, if you like reading, able to share what genre you like if you do not like reading but willing to try. Maksudnya ialah share about your favorite books ialah cuba share, itu maksudnya ialah kita apa orang kata, alamak, sharing is caring orang kata. Share is about berkongsi pada dengan rakan-rakan awak tentang apakah buku kegemaran awak if you like reading. But if you don't like reading, awak tak suka membaca but willing to try, sangguplah, maybe nak try lah, nak cuba, then tell us. You should be able to tell your friend genre apa yang awak suka, what sort of genre that you like. What is genre? Okay, later we'll talk about this. Genre. What is actually genre? Have you ever wondered what genre is? If you have the time, maybe you should look in the internet. Just write down the word genre, G-E-N-R-E, in the search engine, in the search box, and then you'll get what's the meaning of it. But here, in short, I can tell you that genre is a specific, ialah satu kategori umum untuk for books. You know, you can have different types of books with different, banyak kategori dia, tahu tak? Okay, so here we are only going to talk about 6 genres. So the first one is horror. What is horror? Horror is a genre, a category of cerita-cerita yang seram, menakutkan. That is what we call horror. Next one is science fiction. Science fiction. Science is, of course, science lah kan. Fiction is what? Fiction is something that is not real. benda yang tidak masuk akal. So that's what we call fiction. But what about non-fiction? Itu fikir nanti The next one is adventure. Adventure is something, is a category of books that talks about that has the story of orang mengembara. Okay, when you go on an adventure, then it's called adventure lah, perkembaraan. So what if the adventures are written in books? So that's why we have a category of adventure in a book genre. Next would be, yes, poetry. Poetry are actually, but you have your anthology of poems, right? So those that book is actually one of contoh buku berkenaan dengan poetry. Poetry is actually a book. Poetry is actually poems. Poems ialah puisi atau sajak. Okay, siapa yang suka baca sajak tu, sajak paling senang sekali nak baca because memang sangat pendek pun. Tapi sangat meaningful. Meaningful ialah sesuatu yang buat kita terasa dalam jiwa kita. Anyways, enough talk about poetry. Now, let's move on. Number 5, autobiography. Autobiography is a genre, a category, and it is about, if you look at an autobiography books, it is about, they are about cerita pasal seseorang, and mostly about seseorang yang sangat prominent, sangat terkenal, dan juga mungkin dari segi personality dia ke, ataupun their contributions, itu sumbangan dia terhadap sesuatu. Okay, the last one is folklore. Folklore is cerita dongeng. Okay, I love folklore. Folklore, cerita dongeng ni memang best because why? It has this cerita-cerita orang dulu-dulu. To be more specific, it's about cerita orang dulu-dulu. Okay, old people stories that might interest you because it includes cerita yang mistik-mistik, ada cerita pasal pokok boleh bercakap, and so on. Okay, so this folklore is actually is it not fiction or non-fiction? Tu fikir sendiri nanti Okay, moving on. Now, this you can see this section in your textbook, page 1, the first unit. The big title at the top, the title reads, Reading a Window to the World. Okay, now, if you look at the instruction, it says, let's look and see. So, how about you have a look at it for a while? I give you about, I don't know, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Okay, for you to have a look and try to guess how can you pronounce the titles. Okay, 1, 2, 3, bing. Okay, now let's have a read from the one from the back row first. Okay, kita baca yang dekat belakang dulu. The one on your left. Okay, what's the title again? Trumation Nation. Correct. Okay, the one in the middle next to Trumation Nation. Adventure on Penang Island. And lastly, the one on your right. Author of Beauty, a poetry book. Good. Now, let's have a look at the front row. Let's start from your left. What's the first book? Yes, Iban Stories. The one in the middle, The Curse. And the next one, the last one on your right, Tun Abdul Razak, A Personal Portrait. Okay, now you have looked at all these books. Now it's the time for you to guess what are the genres for these books. Okay, so before you jump into your answers, I would like you to have a look at the description box down below and click on the 2 exercises links that I have. and try to answer the questions there. After you can actually pause this video after while you were doing waktu awak tengah buat latihan tu, you can actually pause this video, click description box below for some of the exercises, and then you can pause this video while doing the exercises, and you can get back to this video back again for our next activity. Okay, now click pause. Hello, welcome back. Now, how many marks did you get for the exercises? Saya harap awak dapat markah yang tinggi-tinggi. Do you know that awak sebenarnya boleh ulang berkali-kali untuk latihan tu? Yes, if you like to do it again and again, you can. Okay, now let's move on to the speaking and listening practice. These are the instructions. Berikut ialah arahan dia. First, ask help from your family members to be the one asking the questions. Minta tolong your family members, ahli keluarga awak, untuk menjadi orang yang bertanya soalan. Okey, apa maksud bertanya soalan ni? Yes, cikgu ada sedia soalan. Yang ini ahli keluarga awak kena tanya dan awak hanya perlu jawab sahaja. Jangan risau bab-bab jawab ni because I will give you some guidelines, okay? Now, the next instruction is please record your interactions and send your voice recording to me via WhatsApp. Maksudnya ialah record your interactions. Tolong record lah. Tahu record kan? Voice recording tu kan? Okay, voice recording tu tolong rekod suara awak, interaksi awak dengan ahli member awak, ahli family awak, the questioning and the answering, and then lepas tu hantarkan your voice recording to me, personal message lah, melalui WhatsApp ya. Okay. Move on. Okay, now let's practice our speaking. Remember, you need to speak in English and WhatsApp your voice recording to me via PM lah. Okay. Remember also that your family members should be the one asking the question and you should be the one answering the question. Okay. So if you see question mark, awak nampak ada tanda soal, it means that it's a question. Easy peasy. Now, let's have a look at the first question. Do you like reading? Do you like reading? Now, the answer. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. No, I do not. No, I do not. Okay, let's go to the next question. Why? Why? Now, you can choose either of these answers, okay? I do like reading because I love stories about magical animals. I do like reading because I love stories about magical animals. I do not like reading because reading makes me sleepy. I do not like reading because reading makes me sleepy. Okay, so actually for the question why, you can give your own reasons. It doesn't have to be the one that I gave you, but if you don't know any sort of reasons, you can use my reasons. But I would really love to hear your personal reasons, okay? If you know the answers kalau awak tahu jawapan di dalam bahasa Melayu, then go to Google Translate, pergi search Google Translate and then translatekan bahasa Melayu tu kepada bahasa Inggris. Okay? Okay, so this is the section in which if you answer no, I do not like reading. Bila awak cakap, awak kata jawapan awak ialah no, saya tak suka membaca. Okay, now those who answered no, you don't like reading, okay, you have to answer these questions. Okay, let's practice it now. The first question. If you give reading a chance, which genre will you pick? If you give reading a chance, which genre will you pick? The answer. I will pick horror. I will pick adventure. Okay, this is the part where you put the genre. Okay, you can choose whatever genre you like because this question is asking you if you, bila awak, okay, kononnya macam, okay lah aku nak try baca. Genre apa awak nak? That is what it means by, this is what the question means. Itu maksudnya soalan ni. Okay. Now, moving on to the next one. Why? Why? The answers. I pick horror because I love watching horror movies. I pick horror because I like watching horror movies. I pick autobiography because I want to read about how Justin Bieber becomes famous. I pick autobiography because I want to read about how Justin Bieber becomes famous. Okay, that's all. Those are just all the questions that you need to do for your voice recording, and I hope to hear from you. I'll give you like maybe you can take some time until due date dia nak letak bila. Maybe hari Isnin depan, insyaAllah. And I am looking forward to listening to your your voice recording. And it doesn't have to be perfect, tak semestinya kena cantik-cantik, but it's better to do it rather than tak buat langsung, kan? Okay, see you in the next lesson. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.